I'd advise you do, or you probably won't be in business for much longer.
I like Alistair.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so I'm feeling super serious today. I'm not really actually, but it is payday, and payday for us means a day when I think about money quite often. So I thought today I would do a really practical vlog on some tips, advice on kind of money management in business, the kind of things that I've sort of thought about over the last 15 years that I've done in my business, in the hope that, you know, a few of you might take on some of those or get a nugget here or there. Quite common sense type stuff, but you know, through the conversations I've had with other people, not everyone thinks this way. So here are my 7 money management tips for a small to medium-sized business. Number 1 is to create a VAT and tax account. So what I mean by that is completely separating your bank account so that you have a VAT account, a tax account and a current account, and that you can move money between them quite easily. In the old days, and I think this is really important for a startup, I literally, every check that I had come in, or backs payment, I would work out what the VAT portion of that was and then move that into my VAT account and never treat that as money that I had, so that when my VAT bill came round, obviously I could pay it very easily and wasn't struggling going, oh my god, where is the money for this? So really important. And I do the same thing with tax. As we've got bigger and more payments have come in, that's far more difficult to do, and there's multiple people that have access to the accounts now. That, you know, back in the early days it was just me, so it was a lot more easy to do. So it's kind of a bit more of a startup related tip, that, but still really valuable for at least the first 4 or 5 years, I'm sure, of any business. Second point, all about cash flow. So a business doesn't survive if it doesn't have cash flow. And one of the things that I learned very early on was that people don't pay very quickly, unless you do chase them, which is a different point. But in your cash flow forecast, my tip there is to give yourself a bit of a buffer between when you predict that your cash is going to come in off the back of an invoice. And actually I allow 60 days in my predictions, which is probably a little bit more than I need to. Our average debtor days are somewhere in the region of 30 to 45. So we don't really need to allow for 60 days, but I do. So what that means is that in the column that shows where my invoices are going out, I then allow 2 months before I predict that money coming in to our bank account, and that's throughout my entire cash flow forecast. And obviously in Excel you can write that formula in. Third point is all about basic kind of money management, knowing what's going on in your bank. And really this is such an obvious one, but it amazes me actually how many people who run businesses don't have good grip on this. So I'm in my bank account for this business almost every day without fail, and if I'm not in it every day because I'm away or out, I quite often log into it either remotely or it's one of the first things I do when I get back, because I really need to know what's going in and coming out of that account on a regular basis. Or those accounts I should say. And just having a good grip on money is so important, because it means that you've got a good, excuse me, it means that you've got a good grip on where your business is as a whole, and that's really, really vital. I also have things like savings accounts as well, so we built a rainy day fund, so if anything goes wrong or you have a few down months, you've got a bit of a fund to relax with or rely on after that as well. I'd advise any business to think like that too. I just think that's good quality money management. Relationships, number 4, relationships with your bank manager, really key. Spend time getting to know your bank manager. It's a lot harder these days than it was in the past. I had a relationship manager who had been with our bank for 20, 30 odd years. He actually retired fairly recently, so I've been passed on to other people. But it's one of the things that I try and invest some time in, is getting to know your bank manager, so that when you need help, you've got a personal relationship with someone and that you're asking them for help based on that relationship, not necessarily just a set of facts and figures. Number 5 is direct debits and standing orders. If you can get people paying you on standing order or direct debits, it completely takes out of the equation chasing for money, which is very difficult. People will find any excuse not to pay. I'm not saying everyone does this, but a lot of people do it. Checks in the post, or we haven't had the invoice, all of those kind of things often come up. So getting paid on direct debit or standing order will really, really help your cash flow. Direct debit's a bit harder to do. Sometimes smaller businesses can't even access that facility, but we put in direct debits in the early days. We were quite lucky, and now a large proportion of the money that we're owed comes in at the first day of every single month without fail, and that helps pay the bills. So if you can get that into your business, then that will really, really help you out. Number six, is credit control. Really, really being tight on that. It's your money. As long as you've done the work, don't feel bad about asking for that money and being tight on it. So put your terms on your invoices and stick to them. Make sure someone is on the phone to those people the day after or maybe a week after to gently, politely remind them of your terms and that, you know, you do deserve that money. Don't allow people to get away with holding back money. It's easy to do it. I'm not perfect myself, and obviously if you've got a really good relationship with someone, it's a lot harder to call that in. But you deserve that money, you've done the work for it. Don't feel bad about asking for it. You wouldn't believe how many people I come across that have this weird feeling about asking for money, and it's bizarre because it's theirs. Number 7, final one, is just about spreading payments. So in my business, we have we have two sides to the business, but one side is quite lumpy. It's large projects which are often, you know, tens of thousands of pounds, and what we try and do as a business is spread that out evenly over a number of months, usually the number of months that project is taking on. And what that allows me to do quite nicely is predict the cash flow for the business and what's going to happen over the next few months. So again, it's all about money management and making sure that I'm in a good position to ensure that this business is stable and it's going to be around in a few months' time and years' time. And if I know there are problems emerging because there isn't money, I can do something about it. I can jump on it and work that out from there. Having a good grasp on money in your business is critical, and if you don't, I'd advise you do, or you probably won't be in business for much longer. As somber as that is, it is just the truth. So really uber practical today, guys. It's not any kind of fancy family day vlogging with Oscar or Liz or Freddie or skateboarding or anything like that. This is getting back to where I was at the beginning, all about business. I hope it's useful. Please, again, tell me if it's not, give me feedback, write to me in the comments, subscribe, tell your friends, drop a like on the button. It all helps me to get better at this. So I am quite keen to know from you guys, if you've got any money management tips, please put them in the subscribe in the comments bit below, and let's try and help people get better with money and better at business. I'm going to leave it there, guys, and I'll see you next time.